No, no, you good. You good. Hey, man, YAHAWADAH be with us, you know.
Yeah, kind. Oh, yeah, we usually say a prayer.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Bro.
No, you good.
Yeah, I just put it. We're live right now, so let me go check the screen.
There we go. Yeah, I see it.
Kind, bro. So I usually sit and see if somebody. I usually wait a couple seconds for so go in for somebody. All right. Okay. We want to start off by giving all praises and honor and glory. Oh, Slaki, Shalom, Shalom. Want to start off by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rafaqadash. Want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders, a great millstone for teaching his word and truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to the elect, our fellow Akim, Lord willing, we part of those men and women that are slaughtered for salvation, that fear Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, I'm my brother Gabar Yahawadah.
Yashawamba.
We got the elder Yashawamba from Dallas, the Dallas kid, tuning in or joining in with us today. And me and the elder had been speaking some time ago about this documentary that I have. This is not it right now, but I'm gonna share it in a second. It's called that documentary is by G. Edward Griffin. And I'm not sure if people are familiar with who G. Edward Griffin is, but I learned about him through Apostle Gabar. He has a documentary called The Capitalist Conspiracy. And he also has a documentary called Anarchy USA. And Anarchy USA shows you, the matter of fact, hold on. Anarchy USA shows you that basically your leaders are set up in all these different movements, such as the civil rights movement, the movement between the landlords and the agricultural workers in China during the time of General Mao Zedong, as well as the movement in France between France and Algeria. And these are all set up, even going to the civil rights movement in America. These are all, first of all, they were all set up around the same time, okay? And it was all a form of communism. And what they do is they stoke anger, hatred, and differences between people in different countries to pretty much take them over, to push them into a socialist point of view in society. And that's what we have here in America. They call it a capitalist society, but America is not a capitalist society, right? When you look at what capitalism is in reality, as well as it's more like an oligarchy at this point, right? Because the super elite run all of these different worlds, all of these different, when I say worlds, these different nations, right? They run all of them via their leadership. So all your leaders that you get in front of you, they're all bought and paid for. A great example is what we got going on in America today. 2 days from now, you have the so-called elections, and it's set up between Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump, right? And then what are they doing? They're bringing out your leaders that who they deem to be your leadership, your Cardi B's, right? These are all people that are set up. She said in this, she got a call to come down and speak at the Kamala Harris rally, and then they gave her herself. She's stupid, so she had to use her cell phone to read the the pre-planned speech. But she's a leader for who? She's a leader for the so-called Black and Latino women in America and gay men. They follow her, just like they brought out Beyonce. These are your leaders that they give you, right? They set these false leaders up. And I was talking to Elder Yachawamba before we started, and he was saying how like it transferred from the so-called upward mobile jakes, like your physicians, your
preachers,
your reverends, especially that, because they use these reverends back in the day. They used them to push forward that civil rights movement. You had Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King. You had Dr. Reverend Ralph Abernathy. You had all these different people who came out of the so-called Black church.
Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton.
Reverend Jesse Jackson. Reverend Al Sharpton. These people came along because back then, during the 50s and the 60s, who were Jake leaders, or where were the Jake leaders found? Basically in a church, because that's where you congregated in mass. And even now, they still come down and talk to you, Jakes, these Republicans, these Democrats. They come down and they talk to you via your so-called church leaders. But they know right now the Christian church is not the real backbone or leadership of the so-called Black Latino community. It's your musicians, it's your athletes. So instead of Martin Luther King, you got LeBron James. Instead of Ida B. Wells, you got Beyonce, right? Instead of Shirley Chisholm, you got Kamala Harris.
Right.
Because Shirley Chisholm ran for president in America too. Made a movie about the bitch and everything. Right? These are all these your Thurgood Marshalls, your so-called lawyers, and these are all prominent individuals. Then you started seeing towards like the 70s, mainly going into the 80s. But even before the 70s, you had people like Maya Angelou. You had people like, what's that ugly nigga name? He was a writer. The nigga, he looked like he was always sleepy.
Alex Baldwin?
Yeah, Baldwin.
He was a sodomite too.
He was a complete sodomite. You had Bayard Rustin, another sodomite, right? Who helped forward the civil rights movement.
He was really the leader of it. He was really a leader of it. And through these people that the brother is talking about, these leaders, this is how the culture is then formed and changed to what they want it to be.
Yep.
They're basically demons are then invoked into the culture. Tupac Shakur is a leader in the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American community, but they don't understand that what he was set up to do was to bring about confusion. Yeah, he was talented, but again, they go after the most talented. They use the most talented, charismatic. Now it's just complete trash when you look at it, but ultimately this is how they're able to wiggle their way into your culture and make you a degenerate.
Yep.
Going back to what happened in the Maccabees, but we'll get all of that, as we go.
So real quick, I'm gonna open with a precept. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. Okay, Isaiah 3 and 12. It says, as for my people, actually, I want to start up and then I'll skip to 12. I'll start at 1. This is the Most High will remove the leaders. So it's really, when we look at Esau, and you want to blame Esau for us not having no real leadership, which we have leadership now through the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone. These are the true leaders. And Elder Yashua, you know how to share your screen at home. So if you want to, you can. If not, I'll just put this piece up. I was going to ask you for a precept.
I can read it for you. I can read this for you.
You can go ahead and read this in a second, but the precept that I need is just made me. I just lost my train of thought. It was about leadership. The Lord took away. Well, anyway, you can go ahead and read this. Go ahead, verse 1.
Yep, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and 1. For behold, the Lord, all right, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and away from Judah the stay and the staff and the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, the prudent and the ancient.
Right, because these are the leaders of our people, right? In the ancient world, our leaders were not entertainers and jesters. They weren't people that were used to exploit their physical prowess to lead you. Right. Our leaders were the judges, right? Who were prophets as well, right? These were just before we had a king. We had the judges. These people were men sent by the Lord. Then you had men of war, right? These men of war, they did what? They physically protected Jake, right? So then you had the prophets, again with the judges. These were men that were set up by the Lord. In the ancient world, even though Jake killed the prophets had a lot of respect and reverence amongst the nation. And they weren't individuals that were picked by other people. They were picked especially by YAHAWADAH.
That's right.
They could come from any walk of life. Like I think it was Amos, it might have been Amos or Micah, one of them. Amos, I think it was Amos. He was a shepherd.
Yep.
David was a shepherd, right? These are men that you wouldn't even look at and say, well, he's a leader. But the Lord chose them. So the Lord set these leaderships up and he took it away from us, right? The prudent man, a prudent man is the one who thinks things through, and the ancient. And then we also we also weighed upon the elders, right? Because like you had judgment that had to go out amongst Jake. It wasn't always the prophet sitting there giving them judgments out. It was the elders. If you got caught in an act of adultery, you got brought to the elders of the community, the so-called community back then, and they would handle it. You didn't have to go to no court, no judge in a court. No, you had the elders. People respected their prudent mentality. I'm sorry, you got it, elder.
Yep. And it says, verse 3, Isaiah 3:3, and your leaders wasn't no goddamn sex symbols.
Nah.
Models walking around, showing their chest and trying to be cute. Because Jake picked leaders based on looks and this, but they do everything but pick leaders based upon the spirit of YAHAWADAH, and that's going to work against you in these times to come, because the scriptures say wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of your time.
Yeah.
All right. So it says in verse 3, so the Lord took all of this away. It says the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator.
And that's great, because these are the type of people that Esau was looking for amongst our people, right? Anybody that could speak well. That nigga Martin Luther King was nothing but a eloquent orator. That's all he was. He was set up to be that way. He was taught to speak that way. Just like Barack Obama, he not our people, but they taught him to act like a so-called eloquent Negro, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
No, I say yep.
Oh, yeah. They taught him to be a so-called eloquent Negro. And so to speak in use certain inflections of the voice, to speak loud and clear and concise. They chose people like that because that's who Jay listened to. In the NLT, it says the captain of 50 and the honorable man, the counselor and a skillful artisan and an expert enchanter. So because and Martin Luther King was an enchantment. He enchanted millions of black people around the world, so-called black people and other people around the world, with his voice, the way he could talk. Oh, I have a dream, but the nigga never had a dream. A white man wrote that fucking I forget the Stanley
Levinson.
Stanley Levinson wrote that nigga speech, and then
Small Hat.
He took it, Small Hat. He took a whole bunch of speeches and put them together, and he was running around with that same speech for a long time, but it got put on a main stage when they went to Washington, D.C. So this dude was a skillful enchanter, man. He was an expert enchanter, man. Well, the Lord took them guys away. He took all that away from Jake. Why? Why did the Lord do that? Because of our iniquity, right? For our sins. Because a lot of that shit came from the top. It wasn't just the average poor Jake on a farm just going to fuck off doing what he wanted to do. No, the leadership. And we had a great example with that with King Solomon. He had to happen. But the point of the matter is he was a leader in Israel, a great leader in Israel.
Right.
And because, I'm sorry, you got it, Saquon.
No, finish your thought.
I was about to say, because he did that, it enticed Jake to do that. You got it.
Yep. And when you look at the prophets, who were the prophets really cursing out? They were cursing out leaders. When you read Ezekiel and read Isaiah, go to the gates of the nobles. Ultimately, that's some, although that's symbolic too of the leadership today, the heads of this world. The Lord would send the prophets to go right where the leadership was at, because they were taking particular idols and particular practices of the heathen and doing that shit in the temple. You know what I'm saying?
Elder Itazawan from Shalom Zaquan, he had posted up Micah 3:1, and I said, "Here I pray, O heads of Jacob, and you princes of the house of Israel, is it not for you to know judgment?" It said the heads, right, of Jacob. It says, "Who hate the good and love evil, who pluck off their skin from off of them and their flesh from off their bones," right? Which that goes back into your culture, your nationality, the truth of your history, who you are. It was the leaders that was taking that, and either they were exploiting it or they were taking it from you and giving you something else. Because the Lord set up leaders amongst our people to properly judge our people, to properly lead his people, right? You weren't just a king for king's sake. Most people hear about King Solomon and they focus on the 1,000 women that he had, and they think about the gold and all of the niceties. But Solomon never asked for those things in the beginning. He asked for wisdom to lead the Lord's
Judge.
people.
Right.
Right. So that's what it takes. All the other stuff are nothing more than extra, what they call like perks of being a king. You know, it's more than being a king. A great example is King James the First, right? He had a book called oh man, the Basilica Duran. I learned about that from Apostle Ramla. And when you read the Basilica of Duran, it's like a small little book. It was actually for his oldest son that died. So then he ended up giving it to his second son. And it just teaches him how to properly rule his kingdom. You had to fear the Most High. He said you had to read the scriptures daily. And he said you had to visit your realm, I think like 3 times a year. You had to visit your realm just to know what's going on. You had to know what was going on. When you chose a wife, you didn't just choose a chick with a fat butt and big titties. No. He said she had to come from good stock and she should be of the same religion. Because if she wasn't, she was going to entice you to go off and do some other shit. He also said that she shouldn't have a role in any of the politics of the kingdom, but that she would be a person that stayed at home. This is out of King James' mouth, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he knew the responsibility of being a king. But like King Solomon said, that when he died, one lesser was going to inherit all the stuff that he had. And then he might fuck it off. But you can teach his sons, but they ain't going to do the right thing. And that's what happened with King James.
That's what
King
happened.
James II went off. His daughter went off. All them niggas was going off. They were so wealthy and plenteous. They were just fucking chicks, getting women knocked up. Excuse me for my language, but they were just dealing with women, getting them knocked up. And then them kids would be called illegitimate children. In reality, they weren't illegitimate. The reason why they were illegitimate because of stock of their mothers. You know what I'm saying? Their mothers probably came from a different land, like France. Their mothers probably was a harlot. You know what I'm saying? And then now they got to deal with the outcome of that, which were the children. So it will further dilute the line.
Yep.
You know?
And when you read that precept that the elder Tazawam put up there, Micah 3:2, it says, who hate the good. Now it's talking to the leaders. It says, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off them. So when you read Ezekiel 37 and you see the dry bones, a big part of the issue with our people and why they're in such a messed up state is because Esau Edom knew how to handpick leaders to basically destroy them. And when you pluck the skin off, that's representative of your protection, man, your true culture. Culture is important. Culture means how you're cultivated. That's why when you read in the New Testament, the wild olive tree represented the Gentiles, the Israelites that were not raised and cultivated in the ways of Israel. They were wild, meaning degenerate. Now through faith, they can be brought back in, and that's us. We're a part of that wild olive tree. The way we were raised by as complete degenerates, man. Like we were raised. That's why we were dry bones. The leadership. You know.
Yeah, well, and true leadership starts at home. It starts with the father. You know, the father is supposed to be well instructed. His father's supposed to instruct him, and then he's supposed to instruct his youth, and then them youth will grow up and do the same thing. Well, Esau, he got in there and started fucking messing all that up.
He messed it
gave
up.
You drugs. He gave you wild music. He gave you degeneracy.
40s.
Oh my God, aim bangs. In Philly, we call them shits aim bangs. Yeah, he's giving niggas aim bangs, 40s, 40-ounce malt liquor. Because you'll never find malt liquor in a white neighborhood ever. When they go to wineries and whatnot, they have wineries. They don't have state stores. We just call them shit state stores. You know, where they just sell you a bunch of piss poor liquor. But he did that because what? Well, a great example that showed you about that was in the movie Black Dynamite.
There you go. I was thinking about that.
He said it's ooh wee, and it was
Anaconda malt liquor.
Anaconda malt liquor, right? And it fuck with your Johnson, so it fuck with your manhood, so you couldn't procreate right. You see? So yeah, this man's a devil, man. You keep reading, brother.
All right, this is Isaiah chapter 3. All right, and 4. All right, it says, and I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them.
And that was the reason I wanted you to read that and then skip down to 12 because it speaks about it again. When you look up that word for children in a blue letter, right? That word for children and babes to rule over them. That's not talking about no little baby with a pamper on. It speaks about that where it says, I will make boys their leaders and toddlers their rulers. And when you look it up in the in the interliner, that word for children, there is not bun. Is the word there is nayar. And the word for children right there, nayar, the meaning of that is just very, my computer's a little slow right now. But right. It says a boy, a lad, a returner, a youth, a servant, right? A servant, right? An implication, a servant. Also, a girl of similar latitude, a baby boy, a child, a damsel. And these simple servants, they don't know anything. So they'll just give you like what's that, Kamala Harris. Now I don't know if she playing a role to the T, but that she don't know what the fuck's going on. She don't know, she don't have acumen in business. She don't have acumen in war, right? So she's void, she's a woman. So by automatically, she's void of these things. She don't have understanding. She don't have wisdom because that's not given to her. All right. So it says right there for child, it says the word there is not R, which is a servant or a child. Then it says children shall be their princes. So people who are not who lack wisdom have become our princes, our leaders, and babes shall rule. That word for babe in the Hebrew is ta'ai la wala yum, right? Which is wantonness, right? A delusion, wantonness, a caprice, a vexation. So you're going to get delusional leaders and people. Oh my goodness, check this out. A vexation, concretely, a tyrant. So you're going to get tyrants ruling over you. These are the people that instead of you having the men that we read before, the prudent, the prophet, the judge, because in order to be a man of war, you got to be wise, bro. You don't go to war because you big, man. You got to know what the fuck's going on. You know, you got to know how to move men. You got to know about logistics. You got to know about weaknesses and strengths, fortifications, all of that, bro. You got to be smart to do that.
Yep. Hey, there's a precept in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and 16, where that same word is used. I'm gonna read it.
Is it 10 and 16?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up on the screen. Yep. Ecclesiastes 10 and 16.
16. Yep. I'll read it. It says, you got it up?
I got it up, Squad.
Yep. It says, woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child and thy princes eat in the morning, meaning they're all about self-indulgence.
Yep.
And they're childlike in their rulership.
Yep.
People who need to be servants, people who need to be under the yoke and taught are now put over you and ruling. People who don't have no knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on how to deal with people, on what a man is, on what a woman is, on how family structure is supposed to be forwarded. When your king is a child, okay, it's woe to the land. And when thy princes eat in the morning, I mean, he get up, he's just all about what he can take in and what he can eat, self-indulgent. He don't fast. He just all day, he's just all about, you know, the flesh. Then it says, blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles.
Yep.
And thy princes eat in due season for strength and not for drunkenness, meaning they're moderate, even in their diet, they're moderate. All right, they're discerning. See, and they're the son of nobles, meaning they've been brought up under the yoke of a righteous rulership, all right, on how to govern and bring a nation, all right, to please the Most High. So woe to you when your king is a child. Blessed are you when your king is the son of a noble, meaning he's been brought up under the right yoke. I just wanted to bring that out.
And well, I had mentioned this book that or like a letter that King James wrote to his seed, and right here it's called the Basilica Duran. It says that. That's how you know that King James was a true noble back then, bro. So it says this document is separated in 3 books, serving as general guidelines to follow to be an efficient monarch, which that's a noble. The first describes a king's duty toward God as a Christian. The second focuses on the roles and responsibility in office. The third concerns proper behavior in daily life. It says in the first book is as concerned with being a good Christian. James instructed his son to love and respect God as well as to fear him. Edomite wouldn't do this. Furthermore, it is essential to carefully study the scriptures and especially specific books in both the Old and New Testament. And that's what we're doing. Like you got some Old Testament Jake, some New Testament Jake, some non-believing Jake. You got to know the whole thing, the whole matter. He must pray often and always be thankful for what God has given him. So it wasn't lost with King James that he knew that his providence and his nobility was given to him by the Heavenly Father, YAHAWADAH. It says the second book, James encouraged his son to be a good king as opposed to a tyrant. You see, we were just telling you this, and this is what you got. Instead of a good king, you got tyrants over people that are not fit or ready to rule in that position, and that will take that position and use it to exploit it for themselves.
Twerking.
Yep, twerking.
Leader, how's your leader twerking?
Yep. Yep.
Or a thug.
Yep.
Sodomite. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Telling you vote or die.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And then when you vote and nothing happens for you, then the nigga feel bad about it. I hate that I told my people to vote or die. Like our life depending on our vote. Esau don't think like that.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? It says by establishing and executing laws as well as governing with justice and equality, such as boosting the economy. It is important to invite foreign merchants into the country and to base the currency on gold and silver. Likewise, according to James, right? So you invite these people into your country, they ain't staying. They just there to do business, man. And he made sure that it was in real money, gold and silver. A good monarch must be well acquainted with his subjects, so it would be wise to visit each of the kingdoms every 3 years. During war, he should choose old but good captains to lead an army of young and agile soldiers. So you don't put no young person in the leadership position. They got to be a man of experience. All right. In court and in the household, he should carefully select loyal gentlemen and servants to surround him. When the time came to choose a wife, it would be best if she were of the same religion and had a generous estate. However, she must not meddle with governmental politics, but perform her domestic duties, right? But you got women all in governmental politics right now. And you see where it's going, to a fucking shithole. Hell in the hand. As for an inheritance, to ensure stability, the kingdom should be left to the eldest son, not divided among all children. This man was a godly man, bro. He was he really was, man. Yep, said, he know he was an Israelite. He wasn't no faggot either.
No, he told his son not to be a sodomite.
He told him not to be a sodomite. Yep. Well,
I got one more precept too. I got one more precept too. Once you finish that.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm almost done. It says it says furthermore, he should be acquainted in mathematics for military purposes, world history for foreign policy. Know what the fuck's going on around you. The final portion of the Basilica de Ron focuses on daily life of a monarch. For instance, James advised his son to eat meat to be strong for traveling and during wartime. He must also not drink and sleep excessively. And you were talking about how the tyrant, that guy, he just wanted to feed his flesh, you know, the child, you know, you ain't supposed to do that. He says, furthermore, I mean, he must also not drink and sleep excessively. Furthermore, his wardrobe should always be clean and proper, and he must never let his hair and his nail grow long. And it's showing you that them pictures that they show where King James got long hair, that shit is off. That ain't him. That ain't him, G. It says in his writing and speech, he should be honest and plain language. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that out. It showed you the mindset of a noble versus the mindset of a child or a tyrant. But what's the next step, Zaquan?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 9 and 10, and we'll read it in the King James and in the NLT.
Proverbs 9. I'm sorry, Proverbs what? 20 and 9?
19 and 10.
The chapter's 19.
Yep, Proverbs 19 and then verse 10.
Oh, okay, I got you. I'm bringing it up right now. Lord willing, it pops up.
Yep.
And we're gonna get to the videos, brothers. Y'all just bear with me. I know brothers is like, yo, there's a lot of information in a short amount of time. So we're trying to be as concise as possible, bro. This is Proverbs 19 and 10. You got it.
This book too that shows a real image of King James. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if brothers can see it and sisters, but that's the true.
I'll make it bigger. Give me a second, brother. Hold on.
That's the true image of him. You know what I'm saying?
How you do this? Salaki. Oh snap! Right here. Bring it to the camera to your right a little bit. There you go. Yep. There go King James. And he got short hair. He got Jake here. He got that, and his woman even had that so-called kinky hair. Yeah, ain't nobody had no long flowing hair, no long flowing locks, bro.
Yep. He wasn't with that shit. He was about the scriptures, man.
He was about the scriptures, man. He was led by the spirit and power of YAHAWADAH, bro.
Yep.
Go ahead, brother. This precept is this is Proverbs 19 and 10. Delight is not seemingly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes.
Yep. Get it in the NLT.
In the NLT, it says it isn't right for a fool to live in luxury, or for a slave to rule over princes.
There you go. So these niggas, you got niggas with money like Birdman.
Yeah,
you know, they're tyrants over Jake. These are your leaders, and look, you know, they living in luxury, but look how they lead. Look at these niggas.
Well, look how they living in the luxury. Niggas don't pay their bills on time. They don't pay their taxes. Them niggas get evicted and get go into foreclosure. If you look inside their houses, like when they went in the Diddy house, man, that nigga had all kinds of filth in his house, man. They went in the Michael Jackson house. That nigga had all kinds of filth in his bedroom. Right? So you think that these people are living a clean and a luxury, because luxurious is symbolizes so-called cleanliness too, supposedly, because you're on a higher level.
Right.
But it's not good for a fool to have that. That's why I'm glad Jake ain't got no fucking reparation money. That skit that Jake Spell did was spot on with niggas.
Jake will be worse.
It'll be terrible, bro. Because these niggas are fools. The majority of Jakes are fools, man. And they got a servant mentality. They don't have a ruling class mentality. So to have luxury is not fitting for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes, man. And look at what Esau is doing. He's a servant. And look how he's ruling over the princes of the earth, which is us, the Israelites. Look at what he's doing to us. It ain't right for them, but it had to happen because we had to learn how not to rule in wickedness and how to rule in righteousness.
Right.
But we see why it's not fitting for none of these heathen to rule over us, because they're going to destroy us every time.
Yep.
And that's why we're going to be ruling in perpetuity when Yahawashi comes. God is a plan.
That's it.
All right, so we're going to go into these videos that we got a few of them. So y'all just bear with us as we go along. The first video I want to focus on, Elder Yashawama brought out Elder Yashawama brought this particular out about Margaret Sanger. So I want to open up with that, and we'll go see where the spirit leads us. Just bear with me, brothers. My computer is. I gotta start exiting. Let me exit some of these joints out, because the more tabs I got open, the more difficult it's going to be for me to. Do this. So
because basically a lot of these perversions that we have in our culture is due to the leaders, and Esau Edom knew, all right, the way to get to Jake is through spiritual leaders. So things like, you know, baby deletions, the one, you know, the AB, you know, the abort thing, you know what I'm saying? That was taboo. There were things that were taboo in so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American culture that are now the norm. The way these things were introduced into your culture, okay, were through these people that they set up, and many of them are a part of a secret order that is called the Boule. Okay, many of them, and we'll get into that. But I don't know if you have it up. Yep. Pretty much. You can go ahead and play it. This is an example of that.
To what extent birth control has had a eugenic effect upon the Negro race.
If any question should remain about Sanger's racist agenda, A 1939 letter she wrote to Dr. Clarence Gamble should remove all doubt.
We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is a man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members.
They use Jesus Christ. They use a wicked, sellout nigga to show you and teach you that killing your children is the best way. But they ain't gonna tell you that they're trying to X you out the earth. They're gonna say women's rights. They're gonna push women's rights, bodily rights for women. Right? They're gonna go up in these churches and they're gonna tell you that, look, we need to. Meanwhile, they pulled them to the back and said, look, this is what we doing, but we don't want you to tell them that. And if you get any of these rebellious Negroes popping up, we want you to quell that. That's why they always bring out, and they said he got to be, I'm sorry, she said something, he had to be
charismatic.
Yeah. Let me play it.
Preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities.
With an engaging personality, right? Now, what does it mean to have an engaging personality? I'm just looking this up on my phone. An engagement personality definition. So it says an engaging personality is characterized by a person's ability to hold others' attention, connect with them, and create a pleasing interaction. So while he's making this pleasing interaction with you, smiling in your face, telling you that the Lord loves you, you know, the whole time this nigga got a knife behind his back, ready to cut your baby out of the womb.
Right.
That was given to him by the white man and white woman.
Being a sodomite, all of these things became normal in Jake's culture through certain leaders that were set up. Jesse Jackson, the Rainbow Coalition. He's supposed to be a reverend. When is he ever going into the scriptures? Ultimately, Jake was brought over to the Greekish fashion all over again through the leadership. And she knew the way to get this particular behavior to be accepted amongst these niggas, which we want to destroy them, is through a preacher with a very vibrant personality. So Jake would never think that it was really an agenda against them.
Well, it got through Christianity. They use Christianity to fool you into thinking that as long as God is behind it, then it got to be true. It must be God. You know what I'm saying? It must be God that's coming up with you, showing you, look, you poor and you got 10 and 20, because Jake was having like 10 and 15 kids at a time.
Jake was winning.
Jake was winning. So they was like, we got to do something about this population. How about we send them to Planned Parenthood and we start pushing these agendas, whether it be eventually the church started pushing feminism, right? They started raising the women up into the church because it used to be just men speaking. And they start bringing women into the church to speak. And then they start putting in women in high level position. That was feminism. Now they got women in there to tell you what to do, even though the Bible speaks especially against it. They never talked about those precepts, and they just wanted you to get on that table so you can kill your own kind.
And then the crazy part is called Planned Parenthood, and the plan is to kill them all.
That was the plan the whole time.
Ain't no plan to be a parent. The plan is to
to get you off the earth.
But this is Egypt all over again. That happened in Egypt.
Yeah, especially with the male child. They focus on getting rid of the male child. That's why they exalt the women in this society. They don't fear. Esau don't fear the women, just like the Pharaoh old didn't fear the woman child. He feared that male child. That will be able to. Another. I remember I was watching a couple weeks ago. The elders in Dallas did a video. Elder Yatazak was speaking about Planned Parenthood, how it was really geared up to try to X out the elect. Let's get the elect men out of here. Then they don't know who the elect is specifically, so let's just kill them all in batches.
Like Herod. Remember Herod? He knew that it was a promised Messiah. That these heathen, they pay close attention to us, and what we prophesy, what we say. They know it was always men prophesied to be raised up and do very, very special things. So they again, they bind the strong man, then they destroy the possession, which is the woman and the children. But the Lord has again, he's there's a remnant set up, all right, not to be ultimately taken by that, you know. So
yeah, look at this crazy looking Edomite right here. She look crazy as shit. She look evil.
Out of there.
She's through, man. So that's the first one right there. Let me finish playing this. Hopefully it plays.
The most successful educational.
Oh, that's it.
The most successful educational approach to the Negro.
Racist agenda. A 1939 letter she wrote to Dr. Clarence Gamble should remove all doubt.
We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal.
So that's why they still go to the Negro today, but it's not as successful as we about to show you in a second. Your hip hop artists, your athletes, your actors, your R&B singers. These are the most successful ways to go to Jake now, because that's who y'all listening to. Very few Jakes are packing in these churches like they used to. So now they got to figure out another successful way. That's why as soon as Beyonce, here it is, Beyonce is a mother of what, three or four children, a wife, and then she's talking about women's rights to make decisions over their bodies. The whole Kamala Harris that night they brought out in Houston was nothing but women that got abortions or that was trying to get abortions, and then they blame it on Trump that one of them died on the table because she couldn't get the rights to the abortion real quick. It was no men there. It was no men up there. You had a woman dressed as a man, right? Kelly Rowland in a big ass fucking suit.
Right, with the big, the suit, the shoulder pads. Oh, like, what's up with that?
Yeah, that was all. That's called
psychological. It's a psyop, bro. It's a psychological operation that they running on Jake.
That's all that shit is, man. And they got Trump on the other hand running on a conservative ticket, claiming to be for rights, for life, pro-life, which he's not pro-life. He don't give a fuck either way. But he knows that a lot of his base, because they don't teach eugenics to the white man and the white woman, even though Esau wants to get rid of the lessons of them too. But they don't really push that. They push family. His woman came against him like 3 weeks ago. Now she's on stage with this nigga smiling and giving kisses. And she said she was all about women's rights to destroy their bodies. She's all about that. But he's not, Right. So, the whole thing is a psyop, but it's really a psyop against you Jakes. Why if the so-called Negro vote don't matter so much, why are you trying so hard to get it? And why are you pushing these agendas to receive it? Well, they got to be charismatic. They want the people that grab the attention of all people. Or going back into that definition of engaging personalities, people with an engaging personality are often described as charming, interesting, and entertaining. They may also have a good sense of humor and a warm smile. You always see a nigga smiling. A nigga can't stop showing them 32. Like my nigga, I ain't my nigga, but when Ice Cube, when I thought he was in his right mind, he said niggas always got to show their teeth with your black ass. You know what I'm saying? Niggas always got to show them teeth because that's the type of person that they need. They ain't gonna show you a man of the Lord. If you put Apostle Tahar, you gonna barely see him smiling on the pin. He gonna look angry. You know what I'm saying? We see him smile and laugh, but Apostle Dubar, it says a wise man doth scarcely smile, man. Something like that, roughly paraphrasing.
Right.
But they ain't gonna put no man like that because when you're not smiling, that means you're in a serious mindset.
Right. But
when you're smiling, you're happy, you're jovial, you're funny, and that's why your leaders today are comedians, trumpet players.
Right. When something go wrong, what does LeBron James have to say? This is just a dumb nigga with long arms who can shoot the basketball and dribble. He ain't no goddamn leader.
Hell no.
Ja Rule, 50 Cent. People are looking at 50 Cent like, man, he's rich, you know. And you sit and listen to these interviews like that. People are really looking at them as, and that's the scripture. When the rich man speak, you know, the people, Jake is like, that's the one. That's what we need. They got the blueprint, and they're not dealing with any righteousness.
Yeah, because he got the money. Jake worship money, so it don't matter how he got the money, where he got it from, or if he really even have it,
or how he's using it,
He has an appearance of it, right? And these niggas don't do nothing but they get a call, just like the Reverend, the good Rev back in the day. He got a call from them eugenics people to come down. He got a call. Somebody called him up and went and saw him and pulled him in the back and told him what to say and what to do.
Now niggas lead the league in abortions.
Now niggas lead the league in abortions. Killing your kind, man. Destroying your kind. And willingly too. Like bitches will go to the clinic willingly, bro, and massacre they child and
they're marching up and down the street. They're picking a leader based upon their ability to have an abortion instead of pushing responsibility, instead of pushing making better decisions.
Yep. They're pushing death.
It's madness. So you can go to the next video.
That was the first video we had. We got another one coming up. Just bear with me. I'm gonna stop sharing it real quick, and then I gotta share this other one, right? Because in order to hear the sound, you gotta share it. And so share. Yeah, this shit is crazy, bro. We in hell, bro. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. So the second one I got is an example of a false leader, right? Your Cardi B.
Cardi B is a leader.
She's a leader.
Look at this shit. Look at this, man.
Look at this shit, bro. Look at it. Check this out, bro. Hold on. She come out. I'm gonna let her come out. She came out to a song, Bodak Yellow. Because the last time a bitch had an album was like 4 or 5 years ago. She only had one album.
I've never heard any of her albums. I'm not, no.
You ain't missing nothing. You ain't missing nothing at all. Nothing in that album was anything. And I'm going to show another one. I'm going to show you, this is the one that they chose to be your leader.
Are we ready to change these 4 years? No. Are we ready to change the next 8 years? Because we're going to make sure we have Kamala Harris in office for 8 years. Thank you. All right.
It's a shit show.
Vice President Kamala Harris, thank you for having me. I do not take lightly the call to show up, the call to speak up.
She got called. She got called. And she's a charismatic leader. Make sure she's smiling. Make sure she's funny. She ain't got to be literate. She ain't got to be intelligent. They even call that nigga Tyler Perry out there for you niggas, man. Wow, they called Jennifer Lopez. The bitch ain't had a hit since Jenny from the fucking block. And now the bitch is on the fucking thing trying to galvanize the Latino vote. And y'all don't even support that bitch. She had to cancel her fucking tour because nobody wanted to see the bitch sing. But these are your leaders.
To deliver a message that's been on my heart for a hot minute now. Now, I took my time writing this speech, so I'm gonna make sure I deliver it right.
That's a damn lie.
She didn't write that speech, bro.
Yeah, because she's now on social media cursing out Kamala.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. She's on social media saying I don't vote for none of Jake just threw, bro.
It's finished, man. Out of there.
I got something.
A bunch of hypocrites, actors, man.
I've been wanting to say for a long time. I've been saying it on Twitter, on my Instagram, and I'm ready to tell it to you now. Y'all ready to listen?
Wow.
All right, now. All right. Just like Kamala Harris, I too have been the underdog. I've been underestimated. My success belittled and discredited. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Women have to work 10 times harder, perform 10 times better, and still people question us how we got to the top.
How we got to the top? This is your fucking leader. Cardi fucking B. Oh, this woman is a self-admitted drug inhibitor, thief, robber, all to make it to the top. And yesterday we was at camp. The brother Kahan used to work in a spot where she danced at. He stood next to this bitch. She said he told us yesterday at camp. He said that somebody at the job when she was stripping that, told her like, you know how you're gonna have to suck a lot of dick to get to the top. And she said she's willing to suck any amount of dicks to get to the top, to get out of that strip club. It didn't matter. This is your leader.
Why she got BBL?
She got everything is plastic. She wasn't born. I'm gonna show you how she originally looked. It wasn't like this. She was married, couldn't keep her husband because she couldn't keep her legs closed. This woman is a self-admitted adulteress. She had sex on top of the baby she just had for the nigga Offset. She was pregnant and let another nigga fuck, man. Come on, bro. This is your leader.
They be like, how she got there? Hold on. Let me warm up.
That's some gin. That ain't no water. That's gin. Freak like a drink of gin because they about to get in. They gonna get it in after this.
Yeah, that ain't water.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I can't stand a bully. But just like Kamala, I always stand up to one.
I always stand up to one. This is your leader. And she's pushing in his speech, she's pushing women's rights to kill a baby. Meanwhile, she got 3 children. She got 3 of them motherfuckers. I'm sure she had abortion in the past, but she got 3 kids right now by a nigga that she say ain't shit. Come on, bro. This is your leader. Let me give you this other one. They put this bitch on the stage, right? But this is what she said some time ago. This is show you what kind of vetting Kamala Harris and her company they do for people that they speak to. Where is that? Where is bitch at?
Gin make you sin, goddamn.
And make you really sin. Real talk, man. I hate that shit. I always hated that shit was nasty.
Tangeray. That's just horrible, man.
That shit is disgusting, bro.
Oh,
Hold on, I got it. It's up here. They better play it. Hold on. Boulay, CNN.
And these people are all a part of a order as well. They all are juiced in on a level. They're not where they are by just, there's a purpose. There's a reason they are where they are. These are demons on the left-hand side. They're like mediums. They're like priests and priestesses. What is a priest or a priestess? All right. It basically, it's a mediator between you and that God. So ultimately, they're able to then invoke these particular behavior patterns and all of that through people like this to Satan.
Yep. And it show you, like I would have never put a person like this on stage, but it shows you how despotic these people are. They clean them up, they brush their teeth, and then they give them some gin, and then they put on BBLs and makeup. And she talking about how she going, come on, man. We're gonna see it. Watch this shit.
And you gotta put in that bread. I did it with my money, a good studio, and you gotta put in that bread to a good studio in studio time because you gotta pay good engineers. You gotta go to a good studio, and you gotta put in that bread. I did it with my money. So for a bitch to say that I don't motherfucking deserve it because I don't put in no fucking work, now that's when I feel like niggas is bugging. Cause I did it myself. Niggas must have forgot, my nigga, the shit that I did to motherfucking survive. Like, I had to go straight. I had to go, oh yeah, you wanna fuck me? Yeah, let's go to this hotel. And I drug niggas up and I robbed them. That's what I used to do. Nothing was motherfucking happening to me, my nigga. Nothing.
So because you had to hustle, you had to get out there to get some money so you could be a rapper. It was prudent for you to rob niggas, set niggas up, drug them because they wanted to fuck you in the club. So what if a man did that? What if a man said, you know what, I was tired of being fool.
He would damn sure wouldn't be representing the president.
Hell no, bruh. Hell no. He wasn't.
The presidential candidate.
His excuse for wanting to get money and hustle was to drug women that thought they liked him. He was handsome, so these women wanted to deal with him. He said, oh, you want to deal with me? All right, I'm going to drug you, I'm going to rob you, and I'm going to do whatever I want to you. Bro, that's a predator. That's a fuck. But this is your leader. They gave this bitch a platform. She was in front of millions of people. A self-admitted robber, drug, what do they call them, people that drug you up? A predator. She's a predator. Right. She's a self-admitted predator.
Self-admitted.
It came out of her mouth. We didn't put this together. We didn't add this up. This is before the nose job. No makeup on her face, bonnet on her head. This is who she really is. She's a succubus. She's a monster. She's a demon. She belongs in jail. She belongs in prison. She don't belong on a platform. But guess what? Kamala Harris belongs in a prison. She's a big freak. Like Apostle Hart said on the video live stream yesterday. Well, she lets everybody do everything to her. Bust all on her, skeet all on her face, take about 4 or 5 dudes at a time. They all the same people. These are your leaders. Hey, real quick, can you get Ecclesiasticus, Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 10? I believe it's you can start at 1. Baba Kashaf.
All right.
We just showed you a comparison. They set this same bitch a self-admitted sexual predator, right?
Yep.
And robber on stage to speak. Like he has the right to speak. She should never be heard from. Nobody should ever hear a word that come out of her mouth.
Right. Hell no.
Hell no.
Yep.
Bro.
Sirach 10. You got it pulled up?
No. Hold on. I gotta share it. No, go ahead and you can just read it.
Because I could probably, I mean, if you need me, well, you got the videos up. So
yeah, you can share. You know how to share your screen or StreamYard?
Yep.
Present. Present.
Share screen.
Yeah. It just gotta be in a separate make sure it's not that tab is not on the same tab you speaking on. There you go. There you go. My man.
Yep. Is it bigger? Is it like
that's great. It's good.
Yep. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Yeah, and this man is not prudent. Esau is not a wise judge, neither is he prudent. He's wise to do evil, right? The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Just because he got all that knowledge and wickedness, he is not prudent. Keep reading.
As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
Yep.
And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
Right, absolutely. So if you see this chick, she's nothing more than the ramifications of the rulers of the world. The rulers of the world get down with drugging people. Hey, that nigga Puff Daddy's in jail right now for drugging people and making them have sex orgies. So why isn't she in jail for drugging men? We don't even have the stories of those men. We don't need it because she said she did it. All because she wanted to forward her career. But like the brother right here said, Seek Understanding said about Rick Ross. Rick Ross lost a multi-million-dollar deal for saying in a song, I put Molly in her champagne and she ain't even know it. Took her home and enjoyed that. But this chick got no flack. She ain't get nothing from it. What they do, they reward her. They put her on stage. This is her admitting. This is another video. Maybe it'll play on here. This is another video where her where she self-admitted that she drugged people. This ain't the first time. Stop sharing? No. I don't know. Keep sharing because I need to use your precepts since you got it up.
Okay.
I'm just give me a second. My computer runs a little slow, so
we got the same problem.
Yeah.
We're gonna get drunk. I'm gonna get him all perked up and everything. We're gonna have a good time. Get him super twisted. They are fucking niggas on
ramp. They give a nigga. Yeah, she said she gonna get you all perked up, get you twisted. Hold on, she gonna say more. And it's the woman that they put on stage. This is the woman that they allowed to endorse Kamala Harris.
Get him super twisted. Then bring a bitch around. We're gonna have a threesome.
Damn. Wake up tomorrow, shit, ass nigga with a footy on. Don't know what the fuck you just did.
And when he wakes up, he's gonna be like, what the fuck? Yeah, because the bitch was a tranny. I mean, like, yup.
She said the bitch, so she got a tranny to put his rod in your butt. She gonna drug you up, put perks in you, but then they had the audacity, the gall to put this bitch on stage. This is your leaders. This woman right here, a self-admitted sexual predator, deviant, but she ain't in a federal lockup. It shows you there's a double standard in this world. Women can do whatever they want to men, but let a man perk you up, get you drunk, have sex with you, then get another male to come in, a transgender man to come in and have sex with you. Bro, nigga, you're going to be broke by the morning. You're going to lose millions by the morning, and you're going to be in prison. But yet, you, instead of putting her in prison, you put her on CNN. You put her on a Kamala Harris ticket.
Yep.
You see, these are your leaders.
Tyler Perry, a cross-dresser.
Yeah, you know? This dude, he's a blatant homosexual, a closeted homosexual, outward homosexual, transvestite. Because transvestite is the man that has his penis but dresses as a woman. And they got this nigga on stage. I don't believe this bitch gonna win. If she wins, it's gonna be some other shit. It's gonna be hell to pay out here. Because I understand Trump is better, but look at the lineup. Look at they made a big fuss about an Edomite calling Puerto Rico a big island of trash in the Pacific. Well, have you seen what goes on in Puerto Rico? I guess there's a newspaper that they serve that they give in the ghetto from Puerto Rico. All you see on the front page is people's heads blown off, people, drug dealers locked the fuck up. That place is a fucking garbage pile in the middle of the Pacific. Esau made it there a garbage pile, but it's the truth. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Niggas don't like the truth. You like lies. But we out here telling you the truth. These are the people that they set up for you to rule over you. These are the ones you want. You want Barabbas. You don't want YAHAWADAH. Okay? You got something else to point?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like a guy like Tyler Perry, you know, and these Martin and different Richard Pryor, Flip Wilson, now being a cross-dresser, which is against the law, is a normalized part of so-called black culture.
Yep.
Who did they use to do that? They use these witches and warlocks on the left-hand side to do that. And the preacher ain't cursing up. The preacher is saying that's okay. The preacher is saying Jesus accepts them. So you've become a complete anti-Messiah through this process. That's what's happening to you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You've become anti-Messiah, and the people that are so-called leaders unto you, which, as we'll show you, the so-called white man is responsible for these people being leaders.
Absolutely.
You've been turned into a complete raccoon.
Absolutely. Can you get the book of Isaiah 10, 1 and 2?
All right, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 10, 1 and 2. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless."
And that's exactly what they do. That's exactly why they do what they do. Is they do it to make us pray to Esau, right? They decree unrighteous decrees. All these decrees that Barack Obama, Trump, and all the presidents that preceded and that will be after him, they do nothing but prescribe unrighteous decrees for you. All right? They write grievousness, which they prescribe. It says they turn aside the needy from judgment. Who is the needy? We are, our people. The elder just showed you a video of how they use eugenics, Planned Parenthood, to destroy our people, right? Because they ain't had nobody there to protect them, and the leaders that they did have, they sold them out.
Yep, buying the strong man.
Yep, they buying the strong man. Real quick, this is another video from Malcolm X for the 1950s, which he was set up too. But I believe that when he was during the time he was younger, doing what he did, he might have had some, what they call it, when you have some, when you like not integrity, but he was speaking from a person that was really seeing the struggle of his people, to a point where he found out it was all bullshit, and they ended up killing him. He still was an insider, a lesser luminary, but this is what he had to say about his so-called celebrities at that time. But it's the same thing, and it rings true today.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community, and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
Exactly. And that's what Cardi B was saying. That's exactly what Cardi B was saying, right? It's on
a white leader. Or
it's on the right and it's on the left. So the left would be so-called more liberal. The right would be so-called more conservative, but they're all the same. They say exactly what the white establishment want them to say. Right?
Yep.
When you go amongst the reason why Trump didn't bring out no comedians as leaders for the so-called white people that he's trying to get to be on his side, because they don't have them, they don't represent them as leaders. They bring out politicians who are also bought and paid for, who say exactly what they're supposed to say, right? They do things to pander to their audience. But amongst Jake, you don't have no leaders. Zaquan, can you get Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15?
Yep. Let me bring this out too real quick. Is it up?
It's up.
Yep, this is Isaiah 1 and 22. Thy silver has become dross, thy wine mixed with water. Thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Everyone loveth gifts and follow after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither the cause of the widow come unto them. And see what they do it in a tricky way as they push this victimhood. The Democratic Party is big for that. They set up these niggas to push up this victimhood, and there's this so-called black and brown agenda, but it's all a snare. It's all rooted in emptiness, man. Okay, and they all getting gifts. They love rewards. They're not really attacking the root cause. There's no accountability being talked about. It's just marching and crying about what they do to black people. Well, look how niggas act. There's a reason the Lord is allowing this judgment to consume you. But none of your leaders address that. Now, what did you say? What scripture did you say to get? Are we good?
Yeah, we good, brother. I had put the sign on.
Okay.
Jeremiah 3 and 15.
Right. Jake is dross. Jeremiah, okay, 3. And we'll start at the 15th verse. It says, I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
And that's what you need. That's exactly what you need in this world today, especially we're so close to the ending of this world. Mm-hmm. And the only ones that feed us with knowledge and understanding is the real leaders of Israel, the apostles, the bishop elders, the great millstone, and the brothers on down. We're out here giving you the truth of the matter, right? We're telling you the things that are going to benefit you, possibly benefit you when all hell breaks loose in this world, when America loses its shit, right? The Lord said he's going to give us leaders.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to feed us with knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Malcolm X didn't feed you with knowledge and wisdom and understanding, although he had a point. Cardi B, Tyler Perry, all these niggas Jennifer Lopez, they're not feeding you with knowledge and wisdom and understanding. They feeding you things that was given to them to say. They're not even speaking their own mind, and they damn sure ain't speaking the mind of the Lord.
Right now, things that was taboo amongst you, like when I came up, a dude who was soft was mocked.
Yep.
You know, I remember when I went to in Oakland, it was this cat named Trinity at the junior high school. He had a slick back. He was soft. He was effeminate. People laughed at him. He was a mocking. But now, through all of this left-handed propaganda and witchcraft, those people are uplifted. This is the importance of the Lord setting up the apostles, bishops, and the elders to feed you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, so you won't be lacking, as we see here in Jeremiah 23 and 4. I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, neither be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. Jake is lacking.
Yeah, big time.
We were lacking before we got this. We were dry bones. Why? Because as we went into earlier in Micah, the 3rd chapter, the leaders are a big part of ripping that protection and skin off of us, man.
Absolutely. And Esau, the scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. Esau has always used the more prominent of our people to entice the majority of our people. The prominent of our people weren't the majority; they were a minority amongst us. The wealthy, the elite, so-called elite of our people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing that happened with That's the same thing that happened with during the time of Hellenism. You had rulers set up, well, not rulers, but wealthy people, and they're the ones that enticed Jake to go into Hellenism.
Right.
Like what's that dude, Jason?
Yep.
I think the elder had that Maccabees.
Yep, we'll get that after we once we tap into that boule, some of those that boule talking points.
But real quick, this is from Hellenization, which we may come back to this, but this is Hellenization in Judaism. And it says right here, the spread of Hellenism caused a blending of local indigenous cultures. And we know that these local indigenous cultures, they bring wickedness and evil. The Lord told us in Jeremiah 10:1, learn not the way of the heathen.
Mm-hmm.
And our people would get amongst these different people, and they would learn their cultures. So that's what happened with Greek or Hellenization. What's that, Zaquan?
No, I'm agreeing.
It said the spread of Hellenism caused a blending of local indigenous cultures and culture of the conquerors. Right? Who conquered Jake? Well, after Alexander's death, Epiphanes the fourth, he came up. He was an Edomite, a so-called Greek, right? He brought that way of Hellenization amongst the people that he conquered.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it says, in conquerors, Jewish life in both Judea and the diaspora was influenced by the culture and language of Hellenism. Local indigenous elites frequently played a significant role in embracing and promoting Hellenism. And it's the same thing that's happening today. You got the so-called elites of our people, which you would call athletes. The elder just mentioned the boule, athletes, people like that, entertainers. They don't even use the businessmen. You notice that? They don't use Robert Smith. He's a businessman. They don't use Michael Jordan. He's a businessman. They don't use, it's another guy that just became the so-called richest black dude in America. They don't even bring that nigga out. Nobody even knows who he is, according to the black community, right? They don't use them. They use what? The modern day elites are your athletes, entertainers, all right? Your preachers, TD Jakes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even use Creflo Dollar. They'll get TD Jakes, some nigga like that.
They were telling you to get the Jizzab.
Yeah, they told you to get the nigga. Well, Bill Russell. That nigga, what's his name? Bill Russell said what? This is one shot that I won't block. Now that nigga's in the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? The nigga Magic Johnson. This nigga got AIDS, supposedly. Has AIDS, telling you to take the juice.
Financial aid, shit.
Yeah, financial aid, big time, right? Winning championships, walking around here, smiling, got the gayest son on earth. This nigga about 7 feet tall with women's clothing on, pushing that agenda.
Pushing that agenda, yep.
Pushing that agenda, embracing and promoting Westernization.
Mm.
You can replace Hellenism with Westernization and everything that comes with it. They used the local indigenous elites frequently played a significant, not a small, a significant role in embracing and promoting going out to vote. Go vote, go vote, go vote.
Vote or die. Diddy was on that. Remember that? Vote or die. He was a part of that.
Yep, the nigga motherfucking Young Jeezy singing a song. My president is black. My Lambo's blue.
Plies.
And I'll be goddamn it. It's just going up. Plies talking about 45th. This nigga ain't had a hit. This nigga ain't had a hit since that shit with T-Pain. You know what I'm saying? Now this nigga want to try to get on a mat singing about a bitch that don't give a fuck about you, man. But he's prominent. He's wealthy amongst our people. He has the trappings that Jake loved. So they play a significant role in promoting Hellenism. Promoting Hellenism, leading to its impact on all religious cultures, including Jewish culture. In Palestine, Hellenism gradually took hold despite the relatively small number of foreign inhabitants. So Esau didn't have to be down there. It just let the wealthy and Jake do it, and then it'll take hold. Jake follow it. Jay-Z, Beyonce, all of that shit. You got it, Zaquan.
Shit, I can get Maccabees 1 and
Sorry,
11. Then we can get some of those videos. This is First Maccabees 1 and 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, all right, basically any uproar, they tried to quarrel it. These dudes, these niggas right here, they weren't for the Maccabees in their cause.
No.
They were contrary to the Maccabees. And this is what Esau, like, what did that one dude say? If there won't be another black Messiah unless we create him. I forget his name.
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover. He said that.
Yep.
All
well,
right.
It's on the he said it right here. There will Salakia. I just want to show it to the people.
Mm-hmm.
This is there will not another black Messiah. J. Edgar. Right. So J. Edgar Hoover, he was the one that came up. Well, that quote that the elder just quoted came from J. Edgar Hoover, the former head of the FBI, right? And he was a sexual deviant himself. Right here. Come on, computer.
I got it up. If you go to mine, I got it up.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, that's it.
Well,
right, it's on. It's showing right now. Yeah, you got it.
Yep. See?
Yes, right here, J. Edgar Hoover. There will never be another black Messiah unless we create him. Now, who was the first black Messiah? Yahawadah. But see, because he's not, they don't know when he's coming back. They said there's not, the next one that they have, they're gonna create him. So they created Martin Luther King. They created Malcolm X. They created Elijah Muhammad. Did you know that? I was telling Elder Yashwamba a couple of days ago. Can you can you type in H.L. Hunt? H.L. Hunt. This dude, he was the guy that backed the Nation of Islam financially. This guy right here, he backed. He was a staunch racist. He didn't like black people. He taught his children to hate black people, but yet and still, he was all about setting up both sides. He supported the white racists as well as the black so-called black racists. He was the one. He was the money man behind the Nation of Islam. He gave all that money to Elijah Poole, aka Elijah Muhammad, and Malcolm X found out about this. It wasn't about his sexual deviancies. No, he found out that while Malcolm X was being taught to so-called hate the so-called white man, call him the white devil, to separate from the white man, he found out that Elijah Muhammad was being funded by the so-called white man, H.L. Hunt. And if you think or have heard the name Hunt before, it should ring a bell, because his children today own the Kansas City Chiefs via Lamar Hunt, which was his son. Right? Lamar Hunt is the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Right? And then you don't think that them motherfuckers ain't racist still. They got you niggas running up and down a football field. Mind you, they were the ones, they was the money behind this guy, Elijah Muhammad. Lamar Hunt. This guy right here, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the son, I think he's either the son or the grandson. I believe he's the son of H.L. Hunt. Sure is. Sure is. See, y'all don't know that. So that whole Islam shit, that Nation of Islam shit was all a setup. It was a ploy to keep you Jake sleep and looking for Islam. Calling you the lost tribe of Shabazz free at last.
Right. And that stems from the Moorish Science Temple, which was started by Noble Drew Ali, which he was a wizard, a witch, and he got permission. Because remember, America, when they became the 13 colonies, the first country to acknowledge America as a country was Morocco. So ultimately, a favor was done that the blacks over here who was searching for hope, a religion be established to lead them astray. Okay, and Noble Drew Ali came over here and started what was called the Moorish Science Temple, which was rooted in theosophical witchcraft.
Yep, absolutely.
And confusion.
And Farad Muhammad came out of the Moorish Science Temple.
And he was supposed to be, he was supposed to be the reincarnation of Noble Drew Ali.
What?
Yeah, when you go into it, yeah, he was supposed to be Farad Muhammad, which when you look him up real quick, Farad Muhammad or Farad, however you spell it. Yeah, basically, he was supposed to be the reincarnation of Noble Drew Ali. But you can finish your point.
No, that was it. That was you wanted on the money. So here it is. So let's look at the timeline. You had the Morris time. You had Noble Drew Ali. If you could get a picture of that dude, you had Noble Drew Ali, so-called Noble Drew Ali, which was a warlock, a witch, a wizard, who was taught some mystic arts, and he switched up his religion a few times. Right. This guy right here, he died in
Wait. They ain't pulled him up. Okay.
That's right there.
Here you go.
This is the so-called Noble Drew Ali. He started the Moorish Science Temple, right? In Islamic, so-called Islamic temple. It wasn't real Islam, what you know is Islam. And so an offshoot of that came the nation out of the Noble Drew Ali Moorish Science Temple came.
Hold on.
What's that? The Fruit of Islam, the Nation of Islam, the NOI.
Right.
So you had an NOI. You had a grassroots leader come out of the NOI called Malcolm X. Now Malcolm X, he was young, dumb, simple. He was a lesser luminary. He came up with he came through the ranks of the Nation of Islam. He found out what Elijah Poole, aka Elijah Muhammad, had going on, that he was funded by the same devil that he was chanting down. Complete separation of the races. He put that shit out there, and all that was used to keep you asleep, because they wanted to stop Jake from waking up. They wanted to stop you from waking up to the fact that you were an Israelite and not a Moor science Moabite, because the Moors believe that they're Moabites. And where did they get the term Moabite from? From the Bible, because that's the Chinese people. The real Moabites are the Chinese. So all of this shit was used to keep you asleep. These are your leaders. And they use religion. They use religion, because back then they weren't using entertainment and athletics and movie entertainment, because y'all wasn't in that shit. Y'all Jake's was spiritually groping in the noonday, as the scriptures say. Right? And then you got this. You got it, brother.
That's it. And that you know, and when you look at these presidents, a lot of time you see that Moroccan flag, like you see this Jake Witt right here. You see the president when they speak. A lot of times you see that Moroccan flag, because that's because Morocco was the first country to acknowledge Babylon as a true country when there were 13 colonies, and a favor was ultimately done to where that their religion can be taught over here to the so-called blacks. And Drew Ali was the head of that, which again, he was a witch, a warlock. When you go into it, it was a bunch of confusion. But again, they set up a leader to lead you astray using the talking point of freedom and identity.
Because Jake didn't have an identity. Coming out of slavery, you didn't know who you were. We had all of that had been seasoned out of Jake. So you were, at one point, all you had was the so-called slave mentality. And then you had the fathers of Afro-American science, Hans Boas, whatever that dude name was, dumb demons. They gave you Afro-American studies or African-American studies. And then you thought you were African, right? And before you thought you were, then you thought you were African. Then they started giving you this shit, the more sciences. Then they gave you, what else they gave you? They gave you, prior to the Nation of Islam being born, you had, what was that dude, the black guy from Jamaica? What was his name? Marcus Garvey. The Garvite movement. And he was galvanizing people, but he wasn't set up by the so-called white man. He was another grassroots leader. So they had to neutralize him. So the first case that J. Edgar Hoover had to neutralize was Marcus Garvey, because he was getting too many people. So then they created the Niagara Falls movement, which ultimately became the NAACP, the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, right? Which was created by Esau.
Small hats.
Small hats. They created that shit. So all your leaders were given got Edomites behind the scenes pushing these people on you, giving you an identity that does not belong to you. And now you got the Israelite movement, and they tried to infiltrate that to a point. They infiltrated the One West eventually. They got to Elder High Priest Ariah with the money. They got to High Priest Shaw with the money. And then they got to Jermaine Grant. And they used him as a young, charismatic, smiling nigga, funny, right? Telling you lies, perverting the truth. But they couldn't get to everybody. They couldn't get to everybody. That's why the apostles and the bishop elders are completely separate from what you see today in the vast majority of the land. And now eventually they're going to try to neutralize us, but they're not going to get us.
Right. And I want to say this too. A lot of people will say, well, the y'all's movement comes from, infiltration. Well, the temple itself back at the time of Yahawadah got infiltrated. Yep. And a lot of those leaders sold out. That doesn't mean the truth. John the Baptist came from a family who was in the temple. Yep. And the gospel starts with him. So just because it got infiltrated and a lot of our leaders sold out, even within Israel, the Lord still left a remnant to keep the truth going, man. So the temple got corrupted, but it's still a part of our history. One West got corrupted. It's still a part of our history, but you could move, I just wanted to say that.
So this is the video that Elder Yashawamba shared with me. I think you said either start at
you can start about 4 minutes, you know what I'm saying? But as we just read, in the Maccabees, you always hear about this black boule. Really, a lot of that started at the time of Maccabees. These leaders who were set up by the so-called white man to push Greekish customs upon our people. But you can go ahead.
So this is the Boule Secret Society Black Gatekeepers of Global Luciferian Order from the YouTube page Global Spiritual Revolution Media Group.
Search into the Boule Society, one that is a gatekeeper for the Black community for the Global Luciferian Order. And we'll bring him on in just a second. My website is jimdukeperspective.com. That's where you can touch.
Of the Knights of the Round Years of what we call the Global Luciferian System, or at the bottom of this pyramid, who is also or at the bottom of this pyramid or paradigm, or what we call the crab barrel system, and these 9 black letter Greek secret societies are the protectors of what we call the global Luciferian system.
And that's why if you notice, during this election period, who did you have leading the charge to get people to vote? Right? They call it strolling to the polls. It was the 9 Greek black organizations, Greek lettered organizations. They did that because they always get the call.
Now, if you remember growing up, the teaching of the Knights of the Round Table.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that represents the 9 knights, and some scholars say that there were as many as 150. But the 9 knights of the Round Table, we're talking about the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the Rockefellers, the DuPont, okay, the George Soroses of this world. We're talking about the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Club of Rome, the Committee of 300, the Hidden Hand. So then these 9 Greek black letter Greek societies are not elected, but they are selected by the global elite to protect and oversee the affairs of the global Luciferian system. So,
and then most people, they fall off when you start hearing the global Luciferian system. But Esau always had a buffer between him and the people he was subjugating, particularly the Israelites.
Yep.
All right. Always the term boule, it comes from the Greek word. Well, yeah, the boule. I believe the
black or burnt.
Right. So then you had the members of the Boule are not called Bouleans. They're called Archons, and the women are called Archites or something like that.
Gargoyles, basically, like gargoyles, basically, like
Right, so
demons. Yep.
I got it right here. It says, I got you. It's so much. I have a book called African American. Let me see. Hold on. I have this book. If brothers can see my thing right here. And you can't see it because I got the background on. Hold on. Just bear with me, brothers. Shit. Hey, Zaquan, can you type in this title? African American Fraternities and Sororities by Tamara Brown.
African American
Fraternities and Sororities.
All right, and then what?
By Tamara. I'm sorry, by Tamara, Tamara Brown.
Okay, let me pull it up this way. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the book right here. This is the book right here. So I have this book right here in my hand, as you can see right here in front of you. I have this book right here, and it speaks about the Boule, right? And it's a large chapter on the Boule, right? So it says, I just wanted to get Archon to type. Now, can you type in the word Archon? It's a Greek word. I believe it means like protector of the king or something like that. Archon. It has an H. And yeah, that's it. So the definition for the word Archon, right? It says ruler. It says Archon is a Greek word that means ruler, frequently used as a title of a specific public office, right? And that's what the male members of the Boule are called, Archons. Okay. Then you have their wives are called I'm sorry, I can't remember their wives' names.
Yeah, I think he goes into it in the video too. He goes into it.
I won't spoil it for the rest of the brothers. So again, this society, it wasn't this Greek, or this was the Boule was the first Black Greek organization.
Right.
It came before Alpha Phi Alpha. Alpha Phi Alpha came after. Okay. And all the rest it came after. Right. So it says, I just want to get this. And the reason why it got started was because the wealthy Black men in Philadelphia, they had a problem with the poor Blacks coming up from the South. Okay. So in this book, African Americans, Fraternities, Sororities, it says this real quick, and I'll go back to the video. It says Henry Key Minton was the leading figure in discussion about organizing such a group. He was, I ain't gonna get to all of that. It says, though he made a good living and became a mainstay among the leading African Americans in Philadelphia, Minton decided to pursue another interest. In 1902, he entered Jefferson Medical School, where he would study for the next 4 years while he continued to operate his drugstore. While in medical school, Minton also spent considerable time contemplating the isolation in which accomplished Black men lived and worked. He began to talk with other Black professionals about their shared condition and about the idea of forming an organization that would bring them together in fellowship. Minton thought that the organization for Black learned and professional men should be a fraternity in the true sense of the word, one whose chief thought should not to be to visit the sick and bury the dead, but to bind men of like qualities, taste, and attainment into a close sacred union that they might know the best of one another. So here it is. You already got a selfish organization, an organization that didn't care about its own people.
Right.
But only cared about themselves. Just like Esau. Esau has the same situation, where he only cares about himself. The super elite Edomites don't care about the lesser Edomites, but they still give them something. They give them white supremacy, right? So they give them an illusion that, look, we're all the same, but in reality they're not, right? And this all came because of the poor blacks that were coming up into Philadelphia at the time. So here it is, a wealthy black man. He couldn't find any solace by dealing with the white man, and he couldn't find any solace by dealing with the poor blacks. So they felt isolated. So they created this organization called the Boule.
So then back on the month of May 1904, specifically May the 15th, 1904, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is the same city that Kobe Bryant grew up in, all right, was also the same city a few weeks ago that LeBron James, who is also a part of the Boule Secret Society. Now, if all of your listeners, if they get an opportunity, just type in LeBron James tattoo or Boule tattoo that is tattooed on his chest. So going back to the inception, to what I call the origination of the Black Boule Secret Society, it started on May the 15th, 1904 in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And like I said a few seconds ago, that's the city that LeBron James passed Kobe Bryant to be third on the all-time scoring list. I'm going to come back to that later on. Yes, it's all interconnected. So then these 9 scholars, Dr. Henry McKee Minton, Dr. Algernon B. Jackson, Dr. Eugene T. Henson, Dr. Edwin C. Howard, right? Dr. Robert J. Aberley, all right, whose brother is a part of this Divine Nine, Dr. Julian Aberley, who was an architect who actually built Duke University. Dr. Richard J. Warwick, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. Now, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois is so revered in the annals of Black history, but he was a sellout.
Yeah,
because
he was a complete sellout. And they say he might be in a tear too. But in this book, African American Fraternity Sororities, they actually talk about how they even left that nigga out to dry. They left him hanging when he got arrested. Like just like they did Bill Cosby, they left him hanging when he got locked up.
Mm-hmm.
W.E.B. Du Bois got extremely mad at the fact that none of his so-called brothers were there to come to his rescue when he needed them, right? And then it was just a whole bunch of shit. So they don't mind sacrificing each other for the greater good of the organization.
Right, and he was used basically to push that whole African American notion, which that whole notion of you being an African and being taught in curriculum to give you a sense of belonging and, you know, being equal, came from 2 so-called Jews. One name was Stanley Levison, and the other was forget his name. Stanley Levison, not Stanley Levison. I'm tripping.
Hans Boas or something
Franz
like
Boas, Franz Boas, and Melville Herskowitz. 2 small hats were at the forefront of the teaching of you, while everybody else was saying you're a monkey and this and that. They came along with the mindset, well, they do have a culture and it's rooted in being an African. Another means of leading you astray. And W.E.B. Du Bois was used to go to different colleges and different places and teach you niggas that ultimately you're African. He was used by the so-called white man, which he himself probably was a tear. Who knows? They say it. But overall, he was spiritually a tear. He wasn't right.
No, he wasn't right.
You know what I'm saying? But this is how these leaders, just like we just read in First Maccabees, the first chapter, they were set up to make a covenant with the heathen and lead their people to sell out and give up and stop fighting for YAHAWADAH SHAMAYAWAN. All of the leaders that are set up and put before you are in this mind frame. You can go.
Yeah. So you got like the elder was talking about the men in the men that were mentioned in the book of Maccabees. Jason, the high priest, right here is he the one that introduced the Greek customs to Jake. He brought in the gymnasiums, and back then Jake was working out buck naked, and that's against our law to look on the nakedness of another man. You know what I'm saying? So here it is. He just openly had Jake breaking the law and putting the hats on your head, right? Because that goes back to the Greek fashion. We didn't use that. We didn't have, in the ancient world, we had mitris. We didn't cover, either you had a mitri on your head or you ain't had nothing on your head. You never put no hat on your head. Those are all Greek customs. And they were introduced to us by the wicked of our people. Like I said in the First Maccabees, and there went out wicked men amongst our people that consented to the king's agreement. Are you gonna get it?
Yep. I read it again. This is the book of First Maccabees 1 and 11. It says, "In those days there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, 'Let us go.'" Now, mind you, this is Hellenization.
Yeah.
And what is the whole Greek thing centered around? Pan-Hellenization.
Yeah.
You know, let
it's
us.
Called, it's called the Pan-Hellenic Council.
Yep. Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward therein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, wherein they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the heathen. This is where you get the Greek word for gymnos, means naked. The Greeks used to work out naked. So Jake built a 24-hour fitness in Jerusalem.
Planet Fitness.
Balls hanging, titties bouncing, working out naked like the Greeks, but in Jerusalem.
Yeah, in Jerusalem.
And made themselves uncircumcised. So when you read the New Testament about the uncircumcision, this is the foundation of it. This is the foundation of Jake becoming fully uncircumcised and detached from the Lord.
Yeah, what happened was during that time of the Lord, they were dealing with the ramifications, they were dealing with the major impact of what Hellenism had done to the nation.
That's why Titus was uncircumcised. That's why Timothy was uncircumcised.
Yeah.
These are Jews, but they were raised as heathen. And who was responsible for that? The sellout leaders.
Yeah, sellout leaders. That's what happened with Timothy's father. Timothy's father was Timothy's father was a Jake that grew up in Hellenism.
There you
and he
go.
he didn't see no benefit of being a Jew. Same thing that happened with Tiberius Julius Alexander. He became Romanized, but he also knew what happened during the time of Hellenism, and he enjoyed that. He hated being a Jew. He didn't like it, and he didn't mind killing his own people because he felt like he was pushing forward the Romanization and Greek, the Greco-Roman spirit. That's the kind of spirit he was in, you know. And the same thing you got today. You got Jakes in high position forward in what's that dude named what's the Austin, so-called General Austin. He's a Secretary of Defense, something like that. I think he is. But he don't care about being no black Jake. And he definitely know that he's a high-ranking member of the Boule.
Did he? All of these dudes that are in positions of power, they're set up to, if you want to get into Esau's stuff and make it and be famous, and you got to go through a buck breaking. You got to go through ultimately a system of Hellenization to where you give yourself over to the Greekish fashion, and you don't profess yourself to be a Jew. This is what was going on, and we'll get back to a little bit more of that video. And what you can do when you get to the video, you can I don't know if you know how to speed it up. You can you can just speed it up a little bit, because there's particular points that go directly into what we're talking about.
I think it says playback speed.
Yeah, and just go to 1.25 or something, and play. We'll listen to a little bit more of that, and then you can get your video, and then we can,
all right, wrap it up. All right,
wrap it up.
It's a lot. We already almost.
There's a lot. We might have to do a part 2, man.
Yeah, we might have to do it.
Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois was approached in 1929 by a woman by the name of Margaret Sanger of Planned Parenthood. Now, I'm going to come back to that later on, where Dr. Du Bois was instrumental of providing a door in Harlem for a eugenicist, a racist, a woman by the name of Margaret Sanger, who had also was financially connected to the Rockefeller Foundation, to the DuPonts, and also to the Kellogg family of the Kellogg Corporation in Battle Creek, Michigan, who gave hundreds of thousands of dollars in 1929 to Margaret Sanger through Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois to create the first abortion clinic in Black America in February of 1929 in Harlem, New York. So we go to, like I said, Dr. Julian Abley, the brother of one of the first Divine Nine who created the Boule Secret Society, Robert J. Adderley. Dr. Julian Abley built the schematical structure that we see today as Duke University. In the ninth person, who was one of the progenitors or the founding founders of the Boule, was a man by the name of Dr. John Taylor. Now, Dr. John Taylor was an athlete, okay? And he was the father of the Boule Secret Society that is now a part of the Sports and Entertainment Complex. So the Boules were designed, Brother Duke, not to bless and to provide financial assistance and spiritual foundation to Black America. But the Boule Secret Society was designed to protect the system, the same system that has enslaved Black people for 430 years. Now, mind you,
yeah, and that system is white supremacy. That's all they're doing. They support the system of white supremacy to the point where they will actually die for the system. Like Morpheus said, there's some people that's not ready to be woken up because they're benefiting from the system, right? When you look at the Boule, who the Boule members are, a lot of times they mention these well-to-do individuals like W.E. Du Bois, LeBron James,
Bill Cosby.
But guess what? The Boule permeates every facet of the whole system.
Right.
Your manager at your job, your so-called local Black business owner at your job is actually a member of the Boule.
Yep.
They have different. It's like Apostle Tahar said, it's levels to everything, right? Even in Esau society. So you look at the vast majority, if not all, Black mayors in America are Boule members. Andrew, I think his name Andrew Johnson, Andrew somebody. He was the guy from Atlanta. He was the first Black mayor of Atlanta. His name is Andrew something. John Lewis. He was in the Senate. He for a long time. Well, he wasn't a senator. He was a congressman for a long time. He started off as a young member of the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
So he was
all sellouts.
All of them were sellouts. The whole Black caucus, all of them are Boule members.
That which is then is now. When we read Maccabees, the same thing is happening now. When you see and how they're protectors of the order, when Esau gets in trouble and caught out there, who does he put into the forefront to basically take the attention off of him? A member of the Boule.
So that's he don't mind sacrificing them either. So like Eddie got sacrificed as a member. A lot of these drug dealer niggas, Big Meech, a lot of these major drug dealers, niggas, they Boule members too. They tapped in too.
Yep.
You can't get close to none of them niggas unless you tapped in. And like I said, it's not just we kind of focus, and I think this guy kind of focuses a lot on a local level. But I just want to show you this real quick to show you how deep it permeates. I'm gonna bring this video right here. This video right here called give me a second. It was on CNN. It's called the Black 1%.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Black in America Part 2, and it's from CNN. And this woman, when you see her, you never seen a person like her. You didn't even know she existed, but she does. This woman right here, she's a psychologist.
Want me to pull it up?
Oh, I got it. I got it. I just shared your screen first so you can so I wouldn't click back off on us. I just want to go to it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me play this. Matter of fact, I'll play it for them to get it. Check this out. They got dude trying to act like he's a Negro and dress, but you can tell that he didn't grow up like us.
Mm-hmm.
Is Black. This is Black America. And this is Black America.
So a lot of the Boule members' children don't even go to HBCUs. They go to PWIs.
I'm very aware and conscious of my color in society.
And you can tell
Lee is a freshman at Haverford College in Haverford.
I'm Salakia. You can tell the way they got this dude dressed up. That's all an act. They try to make him look like an average Black guy going to a PWI, but he's not an average Black guy. He grew up in a closed environment of the Boule, right? So, but they want to try to make him look like he's one of us because they'll grab a nigga like Gertrude, which they didn't. This is an old video. Actually, right now, Gertrude is he's a professor at a college because they couldn't use him. They couldn't use him because he kind of didn't fit the mold to like jump into the so-called lower class Black and lead them. But he'll be led for something else.
Haverford, Pennsylvania. Tuition is $38,000 a year. The school boasts 4 Nobel laureates, and students play croquet on manicured lawns. In a student body of nearly 1,200, there are 98 Blacks. Even in this idyllic setting, Lee feels the tensions of race in America.
Sometimes you wear fitted hats. You don't.
Hey, look at this nigga. Hey, this nigga don't wear clothes like this, bro. This is all just cat.
It's a setup. It's just like Barack Obama eating ribs and shit. Get the fuck out of here.
They try to make it look like he's some nigga from off the street, but this nigga grew up. This nigga grew up in a closed society, bro. He is not a nigga from the street. But they put it on and open your collared shirt like this and put your hat like that and make it look like he's some nigga from
Detroit,
from fucking Oak Cliff. So
Oakland.
Some nigga from Oakland, and he's not, bro.
Sometimes you wear fitted hats. You don't wear it straight like a baseball cap. When they're like, don't be offended, but are you a thug or a gangster or something? I'm like, what? I look like Carlton Banks.
His grandfather was a prominent judge in Baltimore. His late father, a businessman, co-owned the Denver Nuggets.
Whoa! His mother, you already know that nigga ain't one of us, bruh. You already know that nigga. When I say one of us, I'm talking about the lower class Negroes. He is not. And so to show him with his hat like this, talking about sometimes you wear your hat to the side or you wear it straight like this. He don't dress like that.
Right.
They don't let a nigga like that into the upper echelons of society like that. Have you heard about Michael Irvin's son? This
Yeah, I
little
seen
nigga
that. You want to be a rapper.
He want to be a thug. But this nigga grew up in a manicured society. You know?
Mother is a top lobbyist on Capitol Hill.
Oh,
businessman, co-owned the Denver Nuggets. His mother is a top lobbyist on Capitol Hill. Lee says she instilled in him a love for his race.
Black is beautiful, man. Black is beautiful. People don't say that enough.
You don't give a fuck about black. You don't give a fuck about black. Black is beautiful, man. Black is the
And Jake just eats it
Lee
up.
is black.
And they do eat it up. They eat it up and think that he's one of them, and he's not.
Affluent in America. He says that means he straddles two worlds and two sets of expectations. From blacks he hears,
you're rich. You a rich boy. You don't understand anything about what we go through or what the struggle is.
And he doesn't, just like Henry Minton did. He didn't understand the plight of the poor blacks that were coming up from the South to Philadelphia. He didn't understand what they were going through because he was a free Negro. And he had, I went to Harvard. I went to Yale. I went to Princeton. So to him, it's like he's like a whitewashed Negro. But in order for them to blend in and be useful to the white man, they had to start getting other kinds of niggas. So like I said, all the members of the boule aren't always entertainers. And not every entertainer is a part of the boule. But you can best believe the ones that at the top level, they in there. Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a warlock before he died.
Yeah, that dude goes into that in various videos. I'm gonna do a follow-up probably, go into the one that I had because
I just want to show you this real quick.
Yeah.
I'll get back to the video. And because I don't think this is the woman I want. This bitch like a whole monster.
Play her, play that gargoyle.
She look like Satan's fucking pitchfork, bro.
She will feed you anything.
Anything. She don't give a fuck about you, bro.
Because you're playing a sport.
Dr. Carlotta Miles has known Bertram Lee all his life. She's a renowned psychiatrist in Washington, D.C. Do you think most Americans have no clue that privileged, wealthy, well-connected Black people exist in decent-sized numbers?
We're invisible.
Why?
Because we don't match the stereotype. The stereotype for Black Americans is poverty, failure, victimization, and mediocrity.
These are great. Dr. Miles, a mother of 3, emphasizes success in her home.
Wealthy. You don't have to be.
And you have to be wealthy.
They do. They're successful.
Come on.
Successful. It's so hard to find that, especially like being out in the world.
You have to be Black and you have to be wealthy.
You don't have to be wealthy. You just have to be a part of the group.
And she started saying
boule.
Boule. But then she said you have to be part of the group because just like Skull and Bones, you don't mention Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, like George Bush said, it's a secret. It's so much of a secret, I can't tell you what it is. Because they don't talk about it. It's the same way with the boule. You just got to be part of the group. And you ain't part of the group. So going back to the elders video, real quick.
Yeah, let's read the scripture real quick in 2nd Maccabees real quick.
This one, your screen's posted up. So
yep, this is the book of 2nd Maccabees chapter 4 and 7. I'll read it in the GNT. Jason, all right, which that's a Greek name that means healer, introduces Greek customs. Okay, so this was the leadership at the time of the Maccabees taking over Jerusalem and doing what they're doing. A lot of these high priests and priests became sellouts. And this is how Esau was able to what? Institute Hellenism amongst Jake and get Jake to basically give up. So the Maccabees were a special, that they were likened unto a remnant at that time. But it says, later when King Seleucid died, Antiochus, known as Epiphanes, became king. Jason, the brother of Onias, became high priest by corrupt means. And these niggas that are in positions of rulership amongst Jake, they get there by corrupt means. It says he went to see the king and offered him 27,000 pounds of silver with 6,000 pounds more later to be paid.
And you can buy a nigga cheap. You always able to buy a nigga cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And cheap can be cheap, or it could be a few $100 million, even $1 billion. You can, that nigga Jay-Z, he's a part of this group that we talking about. You can buy a nigga cheap, just like you can bought Jason cheap. You got it.
And this nigga was paying the king to go off. This is how wicked Jake is. It says Jason also offered him an additional 11,250 pounds of silver for the authority to establish a stadium where the young men could train and enroll the people of Jerusalem as citizens of Antioch. The king gave his approval, and just as soon as Jason took over as the office of high priest, he made the people of Jerusalem change the Greek way of life. All right, change to the Greek way of life. He began by abolishing the favors that John had secured for the Jews from previous Syrian kings. John was the father of Ephraim. All right, yada, yada, yada. Jason also did take away with our Jewish customs and introduced new customs that were contrary to the law. With great enthusiasm, he built a stadium near the temple hill and led our finest young men to adopt the Greek customs of participating in athletic events. And you can keep reading it, but basically this high priest, this is that boule order that we're reading about. It goes back to here where you have these leaders of our people who are in positions of power, but what they do, because what do you think a nigga had to do with Diddy to get a record deal? What do you think Biggie and all these different Jakes had to do? And it's all coming out, but this has been the order from even before Diddy. Run DMC, all of the all of these niggas came into Esau's world and got what they got by ultimately selling out and then using rap music or whatever it may be to bring religion. TD Jakes, what do you think? He's a boule member.
Martin Luther King, all them freak off parties that they've been recording on freak off parties. The feds had recorded those freak off parties that Martin Luther King was having and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then they didn't put it out until after he dropped dead.
Right.
They let the president hear it. Even the president's wife, Jacqueline Kennedy, she even talked about it. She said, John F. Kennedy hated Martin Luther King. He didn't like him. She said he was a nasty man. He was real despotic. You know, and then she started talking about all the freaky shit he was doing.
Yeah, he was probably nasty as hell.
Yeah, but the masses of the people, they didn't know he was into that. And when they heard about it, they just thought that it was just a white man trying to defame him after his death. But in reality, just like Jason, and hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Martin Luther King was Jason in a reincarnation. It makes sense to me that nigga would get that because he sold Jake out. And in the end, what did he say? I fear I led my people into a burning house. You know, because all that other shit that you was talking, it didn't pan out for Jake.
Right, and all of them are buck broken too. That's a big part of becoming, a so-called black man or whatever. The tribes that's of you get in, amongst that so-called elite class of Jakes. You have to do perverse things, That's why they all Masons. They all perform these different rituals and different things, and then they present it to you as leaders. So you're following sodomites. Again,
Right.
civil rights was led by sodomites. Bayard Rustin. Okay, he was a sodomite, openly sodomite. He was the true, all right, starter of the civil rights marching on Selma. He was the head of that. Martin Luther King was the face, but open sodomite was the real head of your civil rights, which was a snare to lead you to crying to be equal with the so-called white man.
Yeah. Integration did nothing for Jake. It was better when Jake had their own small towns, but Esau didn't want you to have that either. So what happened is they well, we couldn't go into it on this lesson, but maybe, Lord, when we get to do a part 2,
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a part 2.
Part 2 gonna be good because that documentary Anarchy USA, it shows you that all that shit was a setup. Something bigger. You got this, Quan.
I'm
all right,
good.
so I got this rest of this video.
We just play a little bit more, like 3 more minutes. We can shut it down.
I am not a teacher that teaches victimhood. I am a black conservative, right? I am a black Republican. I am an ardent supporter.
Oh yeah, you're a heretic in the community.
Oh man, we're going to talk about that later because I am on the cross right now. So then the boule, so the term here, and it's very interesting, man of God, that the term boule simply means they are the guardians of the order. Now the term boule also means comes from the Greek word griffin, capital Griffen, which means a guard.
Oh yeah.
Now, yes, absolutely. So the boule logo or insignia can be seen throughout the internet. Just for all your listeners, type in boule logo or insignia. It is a half a man, half a woman that represents the transgender agenda of the boule or the sexual disorientation of the boule.
Oh my gosh,
so,
is it?
Absolutely.
So it's a version of like it's like that the community's Baphomet.
Elder Slakia.
No, you good. You good.
Hey, can you type up the image of the Sigma Pi Phi? To show the brothers. It's really like a griffin with wings and shit. Yeah. Don't be
Sigma
LeBron.
Pi Phi.
Yeah, Sigma Pi Phi. Sigma Pi Phi.
Yep. Yeah. And me and you, we went, I went to a black college, that whole fraternity life, that's the breeding grounds of picking the elite jakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a very surface level is just, a bunch of niggas doing rituals and, beating each other's ass and all of that. But there's a deeper meaning to all of that.
Yeah, it's crazy because just like anything, there's always a deeper meaning to everything. So a lot of them kids that go to these colleges, they just get the surface idea of what the organization means. They don't really get into the deeper echelons up into it until they either get higher in that organization or they transfer to another organization like Sigma Pi Phi or Prince Hall Masonry. Because you don't necessarily got to go to college to be a member of Sigma Pi Phi. You can be you just be a nigga in the street that's good with business. A nigga's in the street that's good with something in wherever he does, and they'll pull you. They'll pick you up. So you see, like this, if you first of all, this is what the guy was explaining about the woman, the half woman, half man, the griffin. This is what's on LeBron James' chest, right here. And LeBron James couldn't put that on his chest unless it was authorized. And then you see this picture of these jakes right here. These are unassuming jakes. You would have never knew that these niggas was a part of Sigma Pi Phi. They don't talk about it. They ain't gonna tell you about it. But these are some of your supervisors. These are some of your politicians. These are some of your lawyers. A lot of lawyers, a lot of judicial men are part of Sigma Pi Phi. Judges, lawyers, businessmen, you name it. And they used to have. I did so many videos on these niggas, man. They took a lot of the videos down. But they used to have like they have a Grand Boule every year somewhere in America, right? If you look at like Grand Boule Cleveland, they'll show you videos of it on YouTube, how they take over the city and you never even know they was there. Yeah, there it is right there. It's like he has a griffin on his chest. It says the Boule joint, but it's really the griffin from Babylon. But that's the same thing. The same tattoo, and he didn't come up with that his own. You can tell they don't. You see nigga tattoos. That ain't no nigga. Yeah, there ain't no nigga tattoo right there. That's some other shit. And he going off anyway with the tattoos, nigga. Why you But they all about breaking the law. Yeah. Yes, sir. So back to that video.
Yes.
Wow.
It is a matter of fact, the Greek Sphinx for boule, the term boule not only means griffin or gargoyle, but according to Greek and Persian mythology, man of God, the boule was the first son/daughter of Baphomet.
Oh, wow.
So this is heavy. So the boule is the son or the spiritual offspring of Baphomet that's designed to protect Baphomet through education, through medicine, through the prison industrial complex, through the sports and entertainment industry, through the political realm in Washington, D.C. So then the Boule Secret Society, that logo is also interconnected to the Freemasonry conspiracy of not just the Scottish Rite, absolutely, but they are Prince Hall Masons. Allow me to say that again, Manica.
I didn't even see this. This is the first time I ever seen this documentary, and we just said all of this. All of this came out of our mouth, bro. We know, man. I'm telling you. I'm gonna pause it there.
Yeah, we can. We can just save it for the next. Yeah.
End it off on Ephesians 6 and 12. Baba
Yep.
Kashab.
We'll go back. Yep. Ephesians. Give me 1 second. Yeah, bro. It's heavy.
It's a wealth of knowledge and understanding of what's going on around you. Because so many people think like an Edomite carnally, but you don't realize that it's a spiritual war that we're in. Everything we're fighting for right now, it starts through the spirit before it hits carnally, right? And so that's why the things of the spirit that we're bringing up, we telling Jake to repent, because YAHAWADAH is coming to bring judgment. YAHAWADAH is coming from the spirit world, bro. Them angels coming from the spirit world. Everything is about to open up.
That's how bad it is that an angel, something from the heavens, has to stop it. Salakia.
Yeah, because you can go ahead and read it, brother.
Yep, Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Yeah, it is. And that's what you see going on. These leaders that you see, that you call leaders, what you see going on right now with the whole race for the White House, all of this is spiritual wickedness in high places.
In high places, right?
They're bringing out the wicked on Esau's side. They're bringing out, all wicked. Esau's wicked, but they're bringing out the high priest and the priestess on Esau's side, and they're bringing out the high priest and priestess on Jake's side. And this is what we're fighting against. These people are fighting to become either a warlock, or high-level warlock, or a high-level witch. Well, that's happening right now. Okay, you see the jumping in and around, the swinging of the canes. You see the regalia that these niggas wear. You see all the shit that these dudes doing. But what they're doing is spiritual wickedness, and this is what we're fighting against. And a lot of Jake, you out here naked in this war. So when you read Ephesians chapter 6, it's telling you to put on the spiritual garments, put on that spiritual protection, because this is what's going to protect us as this thing continues to unfold in front of us, and especially when Jacob's trouble happened. You know,
right?
But we wrestle not against. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood." This ain't a. That's why we ain't carnal. We ain't telling nobody to pick up no guns. We ain't telling nobody to make no makeshift weapons and shit like that. No, we telling you to gear up spiritually through the spirit power of YAHAWADAH, because that's the main war. Everything started in the spirit before it started in the physical. Okay, and it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world." Who are the rulers of darkness of this world? The super elite, who personally commune with the spiritual demon Satan.
Yep.
This is Satan's world. All the shit you see right here, the Lord allows Satan to run around, run amok, to do a job, right? But now YAHAWADAH is about to take it back, because it don't belong to Satan, and it don't belong to his children, the Edomites, the super elite Edomites. It don't belong to them. It belongs to the sons of the power, starting with YAHAWADAH, and then King David and the rest of the 12. It belongs to the elect.
That's
the Lord
it.
Earth to be given for us to rule it as it is, and as it was on earth as it is in heaven. In heaven, who rule in heaven? YAHAWADAH, the angels, bro. It's complete order up there. The earth was supposed to be a mirror image of that. But we had to learn wickedness, like Elder High Priest Yaquab said. We had to learn wickedness. We had to learn the negative in order to go into the positive. We ain't been in nothing but a big open air classroom. But now it's about to end. The war between YAHAWADAH and Satan's angels, which is Esau, Edom, the super elite, and their people, we about to clash heads now.
Mm-hmm.
So we were born back in this earth for multiple things, but the main thing was to preach the gospel to the children of Israel, to the rest, okay, and warn the rest. That's what we was here for. We had set to do this job.
That's right, bro.
Stop thinking about life in the physical matter. Stop thinking about the shit that you can see, touch, smell, and taste, because it's so much bigger than that. Like the nigga Nino Brown. Hey, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown. You know what I'm saying? It is. It's bigger than the shit that you can see. So we're telling you as Israelites, our fight is spiritual. Them Edomites is carnal, and they're gonna lose because they can't beat the spirit. Carnality never beat the spirit.
Right, and the elect can't be bought out. They're not gonna bow the knee to the image of Baal. So your true leaders are the ones who can freely speak. There's a scripture in Sirach. We don't have to get it, but it talks about how a gift blinded the eyes of the wise and making him to stop rebuking. So the elect haven't taken that gift, so we can freely through the spirit. As scripture say, the truth shall make you free. But Floyd Mayweather, he's not free. He's got to go to Israel and take pictures with Netanyahu and do all of these different things. The rest of these, they're not free. The true leaders are free to ultimately expose and truly testify against the evils that are going on in this world, man.
Absolutely. So, hey, with that, this has been the leaders. The leaders are all set up to make you fair, and that's exactly what you see. These Boule members, these people that you see on champion for American voting rights and all of that bullshit, they're all set up to make you err from righteousness. Okay, but the true leaders are set up to make you run to righteousness. Man.
Win. Yep. So call LAWYA about you, SHAMAYAWAN.
Hopefully we'll be back for part 2.
Yeah, we gonna do it. We definitely got to do a part 2 because it's this is beautiful history our people don't know, because a lot of history that's been fed into us, it was set up by the elites and fed to you as your history. Well, it's a damn lie, man. So with that, we'll give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachawadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Hopefully, I will edify. Shalom.